Welcome to Your Story or History, a podcast from Londonderry YMCA. I'm Catherine, the project coordinator.
And I'm Hannah, the project archivist. For the past year, we've been on a mission funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund to capture the voices that have shaped this organisation.
Today, we are learning about a major initiative from the 1990s called the School of Sport. Annette Taylor started her journey here as a 16-year-old assistant coach, and she shares how sport became a powerful way to bridge the community divide and bring children together from all over the city. She also reflects on her many roles at the YMCA, from the pit stop soup kitchen to the drama stage, and how those experiences shaped the person she is today. What is your name?
Right. My name is Annette Taylor.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself now? So your age, your occupation, your hobbies.
Age, 102, but I look good. I wish. I look good for 51 now.
Yeah.
Occupation, children's entertainer, resident at the Belfry Country. So I look after, I do face painting, balloon modelling, entertain the kids and the adults too.
Yep. How did you get involved with the YMCA way back?
Before that, I seen a lot of sports out here, but I was 16. I went to, when I left school, I went to the tech and I couldn't grasp doing maths and English again. Didn't do well in my GCSEs. And there was a reason for that. We'll get to it. But kind of then thought, oh no, you have to work. What do you do? At school, Clondermott High School, I was third year, I was playing for the fifth year team. I love sport. Badminton, hockey, football, any sport I could do. Tennis, everything I enjoyed. I was so privileged to get playing at a young age for the school team and then for Londonderry Ladies, the old hockey team, which folded and amalgamated a way back. The name had to change, but it was a brilliant team and I was privileged to, captain, secretary for the team and do seconds captain and stuff and play for them. They were fantastic. So I had that background and the job was offered out here under Linda Barbara and Paul Key for the football, and they had a school of sport, which you'll see on some of the photos in this school of sport. And I was an assistant coach to Linda. Linda was an ex-hockey player too, and a couple of wee things like basketball too. She would show me the basics and stuff, but getting them qualifications or even getting the chance to assist her. And then Linda then pulled out with back problems and stuff, still kept me at the side to kind of work with me. And then I kind of worked my way up from assistant coach and thrown in the deep end, and ended up coaching cross-community sport for all ages, for all disabilities and abilities, and Protestant Catholic schools and disabled schools or able-bodied schools were all connected from the area here. And then 12 weeks coaching of the same sport, even a wee quiz and all. And then basically at the end of it, they were all taught the same, but they weren't all in the same team. So it wasn't Everton against Stalestown Primary. It was two pupils out of each school. And at the end of it, they had a festival day after 12 weeks coaching. And they were given teams. They knew their positions. But they didn't meet each other till the final day of the festival day. So it was either basketball, hockey or football. And then they got together and two kids from Stalestown, two kids from Everton, two from Dungiven Road, two from Lisnagalvin played on the USA team. And then another the same, played in the Irish team, played in the English team, played in the Sweden team. And the winners then won the festival. And it wasn't a thing of who won. It was taking part that counts. And we'll get to Carmel one day, but it was the achievement of connecting a ball with a stick or a hand, eye coordination, and even a kid that couldn't bounce a ball or dribble a ball or kick a ball. It was an achievement to get, and then to have a big festival day, and it was fantastic.
All right. So that was all the school of sport. How long was the school of sports?
It went for, I was 16, got the chance into America, and, but School of Sport was good. It was supported by the West Education Library Board. It was sponsored by a lot of from different businesses, but Granny Bar was the one who was made on Everton, and I was under the YTP scheme there too. And then there was sponsorship, there was fundraising and stuff. Willie Lamrock was the main boss here with his rugby. And then Sam Starrett was the first one that started it with Linda, Barbara and Paul Key. And Paul Key was Northern Ireland football. He was playing for Nottingham Forest. And I got my football teacher training with the Northern Ireland football, met Billy Bingham and all the players. And then it got bigger and bigger. I ended up, there was prelim badges and everything to do. And there were so many coaches from both sides of the city. We had the Derry City team from Pascal, Liam Coyle. My best mucker was Donald O'Brien, who played for Crusaders, came up to play for Derry City. Dublin accent, we used to have the crack with him. But when I then went overseas, he took over, just taught him a bit of basketball. He was so tall, and he just took up any sport. He continued on, and it got him his career too, and coaching. But it was fantastic, you know. I still get people coming up, Miss used to teach me, you know, if I'm only 6 years old, older than you, feel like a granny. But it was fantastic.
Yeah. What was like the highlight moment of that school of sports time for you?
Probably the little girl who I would love to call out, Carmel. I think her name's Carmel Dully. But I have the picture that I have that you'll be able to link in. At the end of the festival, all these kids, and she was in a certain team, and these boys went, wow, she scored all the winning goals. And Carmel, nobody knew she had a replacement arm. And at the end, she took the arm, but went like that. And they went, is that a robot arm? Is that how she scored? And I said, that's her ability there. And she was fantastic. She got our special achievement, so that a lot of kids did. There was Belmont Schoolhouse at that time. And just to even see a kid bounce a ball, but they play in a team where they never met each other before, was fantastic. It was connecting people. It was getting the divide, and we had big heights of troubles way back in the 70s coming up, but nobody noticed religion or disabilities or, we all, sport brought us together. That's why I can't believe some people fight with football. They shouldn't. Sport unites you, shouldn't divide you, brings you together, you know what I mean? So Carmel would have been my highlight of an achievement, and love to call out. Somebody told me when I described Carmel that she might be on Facebook. She'd be nearby, living where I am, but I'd call out for her. Sam Starrett then kind of got into his different drums with Royal Buckle. He was a musician too. He done Waterside Voices and stuff, and who came up from Bangor, I think it was Mark Patterson, who's now Radio Foyle's presenter. Well, up to Mark too, because I got that step from Sam to Mark taking over, and when he started with the boys, the Infinity concerts. But I had youth work behind me. Everything I learned off that you didn't know this, Catherine, but the Pearl Porter, she started a wee mother and toddlers. There was the afternoon circle, which was the older ladies. And we had a wee soup kitchen going with a big. I used to come out to all the truck drivers, would you like some soup? So it was a soup kitchen, which I called the pit stop, even drew a sign. We had many plays. I know you have John McGarry, but Sam read a couple of good plays, which we have many, from the snooker club to the rugby players. Judith Simpson was Cinderella, Finbar, we called him Jason Finlay. He was Buttons. And of course, Sam gave me the role of all the children followers, so I was the Fairy Godmother. Quite nervous on stage, and that gave me a boost of the career I got as a children's rep in Portugal. So, I think all them steps up was brilliant.
So you're involved in loads of different things then?
No, it was great.
Yeah, they did so much during the 90s.
Yeah, there's things you'd even know. Mark Patterson would tell probably a great story too, if we can get on the radio or get it all united again. He had people from all around the world. He had a hostel going on. Right. People come over from Germany, Sweden, and they stayed in the there was a dormitory, even with the snooker club, and we ended up doing that. Like, these offices are changed too, but YMCA brought a lot of people from the world. It was fantastic.
Thinking back on your time, well, you kind of covered this already, but what was the most valuable? That's all right. Valuable skill, lesson, or friendship you gained from everything you've said?
Well, you've cleaned this up. This is many years, should give us back, but I don't know about Hattie. Getting the OMA trophy, best individual, I thought that was brilliant. There's only one girl in 1991, I got in 1992. The career then from the football, started my women's football team. out here, we got to play the Londonderry Ladies Hockey, got to play when the synthetic pitches in Craigan. So that was a bit of history. UTV came up here, done a photo shoot with me and Sam, and then I was interviewed on the UTV. It was Jerry Anderson too on the radio, so I kind of became a wee famous star. Not that I wanted to, but it was just brilliant, and it raises your esteem and your confidence. Highlight would be probably that. Get me the career then as a children's rep. We were on the Kelly show, Julian, and I met a lot of famous people, and I now look back and being the YMCA kind of I was the only girl at the time, and they kind of opened it up for, because Linda then when she kind of went to, not retire, but I kind of took over that role as head coach then. People say, oh, you're only girl there, but it opened the door for girls in sport to play sports like boys. And I said to Alex Ferguson when I came back from Portugal in Glasgow Airport, I said, can I start a women's Man United team? And he said, no, I can't do the Scottish accent. But he said, no, the men wouldn't concentrate, the women wouldn't concentrate. And now look at the Man United woman now. I said, that was my idea. Did he steal that? But that, to me, gave me a look now to look back, because all the time, we had a brilliant boy in here, Mark Patterson would tell on the radio, Glenn Miller, and Glenn ended up with dyslexia too. Mark sent us up to get a burger, £1/4 burger. We came back with £1/4 or something, but it was cheese, it wasn't burger. And I thought, am I dyslexic as Mark? And it was came back from overseas, done my childcare level 1 and 2 when I'd done it, and classroom assistant. I learned a lot of stuff. And a little boy with dyslexia said, Miss, you're worse than me. And then I have this energy, non-stop talking. And now I'm proud of it, because it is a neurodiversity of ADHD, dyslexia, and the autism's there, high function. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what makes me tick. Yes, people think it can be a nightmare and all, but you've got to use your disability as your ability, So I'm grateful when I look back, because a lot of people, it's not to discriminate and stuff, but to get a chance in that. And the things I done in sport, I could have even played for the Olympics and certain things, special ones, but them achievements that I've done when all the time I had neurodiversities, I'm so proud of myself. Yeah. Other people, may say, oh, you're this and that, but, it's such a great booster and confidence thing. So they would be all that connection of achievements, and if I look back, I wouldn't change a thing,
And was it just like moving, going to America and stuff, that you kind of fell away from the YM then?
America was just like, that was the church's volunteer, or the Wider Horizon project. Yeah. George Glenn, who's passed away too. But it was brilliant, it was like cross community, we went up and done that. But it was getting the chance then with First Choice and Folk and Holidays. And my personality got it, but I also had the background of the sports, the youth club, the childcare, helping out the wee mother and toddlers group then, the afternoon. So I had a lot of stuff, and my autism, ADHD, and that brain of neurodiversion, even with dyslexia, dyspraxia and stuff, or the dyscalculus, I didn't let that, it can get you down certain ways. I wasn't a big paperwork person, but my God, the memory and that skills built up to be what I can be now. I was a very good artist out here, and they were my good skills talking, and I used it as a children's rep, holiday rep. I was one of the best, became an entertainer. And First Choice Vulcan, it was a brilliant holiday company. And then I got the opportunity, I was kidnapped, by Virgin Holidays, and met Mr. Branson. Wow. And he said, she's good on stage, and start singing. My dyslexia, my dad got a karaoke machine when we went out to, which is now the Belfry, the Cross at the time, my brother's wedding, and my dad and my uncle all started singing, and I thought, oh my God. So the words came up, and my speech therapy when I was young, if I knew this when I was younger, I would have been able to go, oh my God, I achieved things, reading and writing. Hearing music kind of got me singing, so I used to stand on stage with First Choice and sing. I was only doing it for a laugh, but it was quite popular. Tina Turner, called myself Tina Turnip, but I'm not the world's best singer, but I'm not the world's worst. But it was the entertainment, the fun, and I learned a lot. So I loved my career, and that's got me my career from the Everglades to now the famous Belfry country. And I've got Brian Boss with the neurodiversity charity from Belfast, Cumber, come up, and we do a hub up here to support people. It's not where you do a support group and go, I have this. It's one-to-one where we help the child, the parents, and I run a wee kids session too. We support the parents too. So that was my big charity. That and the animal charities, because they are my emotional support animals too. So I think don't work with children and animals, but love it. You know what I mean? And I'm in my element. I think I am a big kid too at heart.
Yeah.
You
So thinking about kind of the YMCA as a whole, what do you think was the most significant contribution or positive effect the School of Sport had on the organisation?
Do you know what was a unique thing to do? I would love to bring it back and be with a neurodiversity side too, and maybe get back in here and do that again, even help younger ones, younger than me. If my knees can hold up, I'm still out here with the Babbleton, I still have a lot of support. I would love to get back into all that and kind of get that reconnected, Catherine, with yourselves. Even maybe do a nostalgic like you're doing with the heritage. Maybe bring back a memorial thing, and maybe people that have been coached by us, from Paul Key, all the coaches, do you know what I mean? And maybe bring back, especially achievement kids, and bring back their memories. Even some of the teachers, you see some of the letters that when I grow up, miss, I want to be like you. Even the thank you letters, which I've worked with Frances Anderson, who ran Culmore Primary School as a principal, William McElwee, Don Ashley, and they were my teachers too, and Mr. Doherty, Nigel, who runs Everton still, headmaster, and they were my teachers at school. But having their letters going, thank you so much, and I think all that, it was just a big family out here. It was great, and even to see some of the stuff continued on, but it'd be nice to kind of have that nostalgia bring back again.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the Heritage Project now will get that nostalgia piece. It's just hard to reconnect people, but we're getting there. You mentioned Sam Starrett earlier. We're trying to gather a wee bit about kind of really influential, important people, and Sam's names come up quite a lot.
He was the boy.
So many.
I think he must have knew. He read a lot of stuff down, and I used to go, I can't do what he can do. Brilliant writer, very creative. His plays, the Cinderella, it was a laugh. He created the characters from us into the plays, and it was a laugh, and he made Cinderella even more funny than some of the pantomimes that he read. He brought things like Adrian Knight, the hypnotist, and people still going, how did they do that? And he had everybody locking hands, and those were locked hands had he go up on the stage. I was still sitting there going, they ain't going to get my hands. But the hypnotist, many plays. My dad got into the Ulster Scots. My brother done piping here for the Ulster Scots, and my dad was in the dance group. It was this Burns night. I'm vegetarian. It was the first time I was like, what's that? Cheap, haggis. And been vegetarian all my life. But the best thing was the AJ Hackett even came over, and Sam got that. Me Sam on a tangent jump, the bungee jumps, 250 feet down there at them grounds. Even watching Institute, bringing the Rangers legends over to play, and there's a lot of history. The Stute boys, watching them grow up, and you know what I mean. But Sam, there he is, there, and that's William Hayes, Speaker of Commons. And there's Mary Bradley, that's passed away, was the mayor too. There was a lot of ones. Western Education Board got a lot of sponsors for us, and they done really well. And we done certificates for all the achievements at the fun day, the festival day, with a big disco in the hall. And I think that kind of got me. I had no, even though you wouldn't think I'm shy or confident to go on stage, but you had to do it because the kids. And the next one is, and the next, the mind them with a disco, and he's in there doing football coaching, and I loved it. I was a big kid at heart, still am. I hope I go to 103 and still can have my grave and any spaghetti was here, but But that was Linda there, and then Sam. That was Sam was just his daughter was in my school and classmate and good friends with me, Caroline Bond now. But Caroline would even say how wonderful her dad had this creativity, a patience, a calm. Another boy that he had in here was our cleaner, was a great cricketer, Ernie Faulkner. And I used to stand on Ernie's buffing machine around that, to help him clean. This place was well run, and Mark just kind of fell into it, and he was following great footsteps. And Mark achieved a brilliant footstep too. Mark wouldn't be where he is too. He got a lot of stuff that we didn't know, but Sam, had certificates, and them days were hard to get, but he seen a girl that he must have knew and must have had neurodiversities. No people knew about it then, what they were. I wasn't bad behaved. I was a bit of a daydreamer, but God, the energy, it was right up my street, this place,
Yeah.
And even when I was in first choice holidays, I was straight at the front of the stage, YMCA, with the rap songs and stuff. Kiddie discos, kids games, yeah. The confidence got bigger and bigger, so with it, never would change a thing from it. And I don't have a degree in neurodiversity, even though my brain's like a sponge, they say. But the University of Life was what I've learned on, and this was a big. So he was like a teacher, a role model to me. My dad, my parents, and all are, and family members and stuff. But Sam kind of seen the potential, like Linda did too. Linda was an excellent hockey player for a lot of teams too. But Paul Key, Northern Ireland, he was Nottingham Forest player and stuff. So yeah, there was a big family here. A lot of people came and go too, but the kids made it, mine first. So it'd be nice to bring that kind of back, or, even get people on your podcast. They say, Miss used to teach me. Wasn't that good? But when they grew up, it was like, they might have had them careers or, So, but it was such a good thing, 12 weeks of coaching. You couldn't see a kid even dribble a ball. But by the end of the 12 weeks or even 2 weeks, they were, it was great. So every school was getting taught the same, and then the same every week, even a wee test and a wee kind of video of how they play and stuff. But them 12 weeks were just, bee's knees for them kids. And then they didn't know till they all met on the festival day. You're playing this team and that team and they didn't meet each other, but they were all, this is my best mate, look at that, pass the ball, Carmel passed to this boy, we didn't know this, and they were all like, you think they were playing for years the way they did it. And the end of it wasn't colour of skin, it wasn't disability, it wasn't religion. We were, just hug, we won the day, And it didn't matter if you came last. Oh, you have fun, And seeing that in children's faces, that still goes on in my life, and I still do my best. Because, it's brilliant. It was a career that I could never say it was a bad career. I would recommend it to anyone. Do you know what I mean? So YMCA forever.
Yeah. Is there this we've kind of identified Sam's stars, and obviously Mark and Willie and a couple of different ones that are really important people. Is there any other people that comes to your mind that you think we should be thinking about?
Well, I mentioned Ernie Faulkner was lovely, and he helped Sam in the Waterside Voices. Roy Buckle helped with the different drums. There's a lot of people came on for projects and stuff. Got bigger and bigger, The afternoon circle was Sam's, Carleen's great granny, Sam's mother, Annie Stark, and she was brilliant. But then we ladies had buns out, and any occasions like the Ulster Scots Burns night, or or any they had it all done. And Pearl Porter, Brian, her daughter Dawn was at my school. Brian Babbleton player Dawn, lovely girl. I'd love to connect with Dawn, get Pearl back. I think she's on Facebook too, but it'd be nice to hear them. I learned my childcare off her too. Not only it all kind of connected together, it linked all up. But I went in and I couldn't wait to go and say, do you want me to help with the toys? I was rolling on the floor with the toys with the wee toddlers and everything. And that was a big step for me to go, oh my God. Before the YMCA, even church, cafe in church, I was doing the creche. I couldn't understand some of the long stories, some of the music I could. But then when it came out for the children's part, I ran in going, can I help out in the creche? My sister was brilliant in there, and I ended up with a wee career of babysitting and, the mind and child mind and all. So, yeah, and that connected to here, learning more. So it also gave me a step up to learn level 1, 2 childcare, and then come to have the confidence, which I didn't think I'd be able to do, level 3, because of the writing and the spelling mistakes. But I would have to write 10 times to get that right, But do you know what? I got there. Yep. I know it all, I used to just watch Sam, but other ones, there was loads of kind of people that came and go, so it would be nice to reach out to say, were you part? The snooker club was very popular, the rugby, it was great. And there was a lovely guy in which we've lost him, Nigel Norris, so I'll give a big out to him. Fantastic. He was Prince Charming in our play. very into the rugby and all. And Nigel, a lot of people from Drumahoe area here too. He was a wee bit of a celebrity, but they all came to that play. The tickets for it, was brilliant. And it went on extra nights. Robin Curry, Richard Laird musical too, and you know what? They were all brilliant in that play. I met a lot of people, and there was dressmakers, the whole team. That play was funny. It was just, it went on. So it'd be nice to get that reconnection. You know what I mean? Even the YMCA board you brought out, like, a bit like the Monopoly.
Yes, the Maiden City.
I don't know where the Maiden City, was it called the Maiden
City?
Oh my God, that was hidden in the back of it. We even, when I came back, Linda got a lovely basketball nets, and we had that roll before the stage was covered, and that was, oh my God, that was brilliant. And then the stage way back, the Infinity Boys, I ended up doing security bouncer at that, even though I earned a couple of MC, and I used it overseas in my holiday rep job. But it was the gym and all was built in there. There was a lot of stuff. And now when I go back and see the girls doing the extra part at the back, the childcare part and all, I think it's fantastic. It's keeping on going. But it did start from that wee core, and it's worked itself up. So I'm so privileged to be part of it, But they are the special kind of, and then Mark was like when he got onto the radio, it was like celebrities, but it was fantastic. So we would all do kind of the YM too,
Before we finish up, is there anything else you'd want to include in the interview? Anything else to add? Maybe I haven't asked you about, or
I don't know. The soup kitchen, the pit stop, that was quite good. And even the youth clubs that came through, youth clubs were brilliant. It kind of, I think a variety. When you have a variety, it's like instead of sticking to one thing, you learned a whole lot in here. Even as I said earlier, I was like learning how to polish floors, and even though I spent more time spinning on them. But we had to prep the floor before the school sport, before basketball or the hockey pitch. Sad to see the hockey pitch kind of go with when it was turned into the park and ride, but then the fun overflow. Sam used to do a couple of wee lunch breaks and take us down to the river. At first time I never knew about salmon going upstream. We've beautiful grounds out here, beautiful history, And again, you were covering that, Catherine, but they find out how old it is. But I'd love to just give a call out if you've ever been, even if you came in for a cup of tea or a pit stop to get down to Belfast, come on and give us a shout, and put it on the podcast or put it on Facebook, text, message, be great. But we'd love to call out Karma. I have a couple of kids here. I know that's Belmont School too, but Karma, and these kids were just, you made their day, but it made my day seeing them, smile and go, I couldn't do that 5 minutes ago, now I could. Some of them were better than me, but my motto is, you play against the best, you become the best just as good. Do you know what I mean? And practice makes perfect. So, you know what I mean? And it's not winning that counts, it's taking part that counts. And you know what? I've stuck to that motto all my life, but they were the days, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have got the career if it wasn't for the YMCA,
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Story, Our History.
Our living archive is still growing. If you have a story from the last 40 years at Drumahoe, we want to hear from you.
You can get in touch by messaging us on Facebook or Instagram at Londonderry YMCA Heritage, or emailing heritage.lderry@ymca-ireland.net.
This project is kindly funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. Be sure to follow our podcast so you don't miss our next story.
Because our history
is your story.